Alright, so gotta find angle X. Now, this arc measures 104. So if you were to pull from the center and make that arc, that central angle would also be 104. But if you're pulling from the circle and you're making that same arc, it is going to be half of the measure of the arc. So if the arc is 104, do 104 divided by 2, and that's 52. So that means angle X is going to be 52 degrees. Okay, look at this picture. So chord CD is intersected by radius AE, and your radius is going to intersect it at 90. So that means it's cutting it in half. So that means this CG, segment CG, and segment GD are the same. So if you ever intersect a chord and you cut it in half, that is going to make CG and GD the same size. So CG is 5x plus 2. So that goes to right there. GD is 7x minus 12. And you need to find x. So the geometry says those two portions are congruent. So I'm going to go 5x plus 2 equals 7x minus 12. And then from here it's algebra. So minus 5x minus 5x. So we got 2 equals 2x minus 12. Plus 12 plus 12, we got 2x is 14. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is 7. Okay, circles. So the equation of a circle, you need to know where the center is. The center is at some x and some y. But that's the most important point of all the circles. So we're going to call that x and y h and k. And your formula is going to be x minus the distance from the center. So if you find the distance between x and the center squared plus the distance from y in the center squared equals r squared. So we just need a h and a k, and then you need to know r. Okay, so they're given the radius right here. So the radius is 10. And the center, so that is the h and that is the k. So this top one, they give us everything we need. So all we're going to do is plug in. So we're going to go x minus a negative 4 squared plus y minus a negative 9 squared equals r squared. And so you need to change these minus to plus, so the answer is x plus 4 squared plus y plus 9 squared, and simplify 10 squared, that's 100. Okay, now the next one, they're going to give you the formula, everything but the radius, and you got to find the radius, but they're going to give you a dot. So your circle, your h is at 3 and your k is at 2. So somewhere over in quadrant 1, if you go over 3 and up 2, there's your center, and it contains the point 1,4. So if I go over 1 up 4, so my circle looks something like that. And they want us to find the radius. So from the center to that point, you can either make a triangle and do like a squared, b squared, c squared, or you can take this 1 and plug it in place of the x and take the 4, which is a y, so plug it in for the y. So we can do 1 minus 3 squared, which is a minus 2 squared, which is 4. And then we can do the y, 4 minus 2 squared, which is 2 squared, which is 4. 4 plus 4 equals r squared. So we've got 8 equals r squared. So undo the square, square root, square root. So r, your radius equals square root of 8, which is not a perfect square, but it does have a square in it. Break it down. 4 times 2, and that is your perfect square, 4. So square root of 4 is 2, so just take a 2 to the outside and leave a 2 inside. 2 square roots of 2. Okay, if you gotta graph it, to graph you need the h, the k, and the r. And your h is right here, it's with the x. Your k is with the y, so your h is actually a -1. Your k is a +2, and your radius needs to be r squared. So your radius is actually 4. So if you make your own grid, if you go left 1 and up 2, then from there your radius is 4. So I'm going to go down 4, go left 4, go right 4, go up 4, then your circle should be centered in quadrant 2. Okay, another arc length. So find the length of PQ. So PQ, this one's actually easier than the first one we did. So the central angle is 60 degrees, so that is also 60 degrees. So we're going to compare 60 degrees to the full circle, and we're going to compare this arc, which we don't know, to the full circle. The circumference is pi times diameter. So your radius is 3. So your diameter is going to be 6. So your total circumference is going to be 6 pi. And now once you get a proportion, just cross multiply. So 360 pi equals 360x. So divide by 360, divide by 360. So x is just pi. If they want it rounded to a decimal, so x would just be 3.14. Okay, now circle C, they're going to give you the measure of arc AB is 72, so this is 72 degrees, so that means this angle right here is also 72. So if you pull from the center, they're the same, and they want you to find angle BCD, so from here to here to here, how much is this angle? So these two are on a straight line, 180, they're a linear pair, so just do 180 minus 72, and we should end up with 108. So 108 degrees is angle DCB. And the bottom one, they want you to find the measure of angle ABC, so this angle right here. Okay, now this arc is 120 and this arc is 100, so we need to find this arc. So 360, do 360 minus 120 minus 100, and it should be left over 140. Okay, now if that's 140, this angle has to be half of it, because if you're pulling from the circle, so I'm going there to there, I'm making that arc. If I were to go from the center and make that arc, then the center would be 140, because the central angle and the arc are the same. But if you're pulling from the circle, you need to divide it by 2. It's going to be half of it. So do 140, cut in half, and that should be 70 degrees. So angle B is 70 degrees. Okay, so we get another equation of a circle. That's actually your h, that's your k, that's your r. So this one's not bad. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And if you've got if you got nothing with your x and y, it's just going to be x squared plus y squared equals 16. Then they're going to give you the formula of a circle. So your h and k and r, your center is at a -3 and a +7. And your r is actually square root of 289. So your r is actually 17. And then need area. Area equals pi times r squared. So it's going to be pi times 17 squared. So your area is just 289 pi. Okay, now this one's a good one. So I wonder if I can blow this up. Okay, so here we go. Angle X is 126, so this angle right here is 126 degrees. Okay, this angle goes to this arc. So it makes this arc all the way here. And since I'm pulling from the circle, if I double that, if I do 126 times by 2, so 250, what is that, 252? This arc is 252 degrees. Okay, now if I go this arc, the red arc and the blue arc are a full 360. So if I do 360 minus the blue arc, 252, that should leave me with the red arc, which is 108. So the red arc and the blue arc make a full 360. But the red arc is going from this angle right here. This angle is making the red arc, and since I'm pulling from the circle, this angle is going to be half of the arc. So if I do 108 divided by 2, I get 54. So that arc is 54 degrees. Okay, 3 more problems. Let's do the top one. If MN and NO and MO are tangent to the circle P, find X. So let's see. So this is tangent. This is tangent. Okay, now look. Here we go. I know that MO is tangent, so M to that point is 2, so M to this point is also 2. And that means N to this point has to be 8, because N to M is 10, so it's got to be 8 plus 2 is 10. So N to this point is 8, and N to this point has to also be 8. So X has to be 8. Then if this is 94, this arc is also 94. But if I pull from the circle and I make that same arc, I need to do 94 divided by 2, so half of 94. So X is 47 degrees. And the very last one, you need to find the measure of angle J. So this is a diameter which creates a semicircle. So a semicircle is 180, and the angle that makes that semicircle, so right here, angle H, this is a 90. So here's what we know. Angle J plus angle H plus angle K have to be 180. They make a triangle. So in a triangle there's 180 degrees. And I know angle H is 90. So here's what I know. Angle J plus angle K also has to be 90, because 90 and 90 is 180. So if I take J and K and I add them, so 5x minus 2 is J, and I add K, which is 2x plus 8. If I add them, they have to give me 90. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. So 7x plus 6 has to be 90. So minus 6 minus 6. So we got 7x is 84 divided by 7 divided by 7. So if we do 84 divided by 7, that takes us to 12. So we know x is 12, but that's not the answer. They want to know angle J. So if I take 12 and plug it in there, it's going to be 5 times 12 minus 2. So 5 times 12 is 60 minus 2. So angle J is 58 degrees.